An unfamiliar feeling may settle in as we go on our trauma recovery, and that is a feeling of boredom. So let's do an EFT tapping on this because it's an important feeling to actually feel this boredom. And let's explore why this is. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being and repeating after me. Let's go with that flow. Let's begin to tap. Even though I may have grown up surrounded by chaos and felt like I'm under constant threat and having to perceive the next danger. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though I've been going for a recovery journey. And as I regulate my system, and as I gain new perceptions of myself and the environment that I grew up in, I'm encountering something completely unfamiliar to myself. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though there is this feeling of unfulfillment and a sense of boredom that is settling down upon me. And I just don't know what to do with myself. And I feel uneasy within this boredom. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. All this trauma recovery, all this sense of boredom, it's been settling in quietly and uneasily. All this regulating of my nervous system, all this uneasy feeling that I'm feeling, all this loss of a sense of purpose that I knew so well, that was creating unwell feelings within myself. All this unfamiliar. I'm unfamiliar with this boredom as I step along my recovery journey. And when I look to my past and what I was surrounded by, may have always been chaos and always unsafe. And I grew up on these mean streets, learning to survive and doing what I had to do to gain love and acceptance from my caretakers, who are only interested in taking care away from myself. And as I grew older, or grew a little wiser, I said to myself, this isn't right. Perhaps situations led to where I had to make a change between my environment and myself. And for once I chose myself. And through whatever means and whatever therapeutic modalities, I started to recover myself. I started to go on a healing journey where I started to right the wrongs, where I started to regulate my nervous system that knew so much danger, and was constantly scanning the environment for the next threat that was going to threaten me, either emotionally or physically, sometimes even both. And I learned to keep myself safe by maladapting myself to the adversity that I went through. I may have lost my childhood by being an adult and caretaking for adults and constantly being on service to other people's needs and forgetting myself in the process. And all these roles and functions may have served as my sense of purpose for always being there for others. And as I go on this recovery journey, where I have the nerve to be there for myself and take care of my own needs, something that was denied of me for so long, I start to be there for myself and recognize my own hurt, recognize my own behavioral patterns, and start to mend these wounds. I went through so much adversity. That was all I knew. And as the wounds start to heal, I find myself no longer entering into situations that were harmful, people that were harmful, people that really weren't caring. And I find myself with this unfamiliarity, this sense of boredom. As my nervous system detoxifies, I no longer find the stimulation in toxic situations or toxic people. How I received love in the past may have been deforming myself and entering into dangerous situations and doing things for others where I gained that moment of acceptance. I was seen as worth. By forgetting my worth and being of service to others. The only way that I gained my love was putting myself in painful situations. And as I gain a new awareness of myself, I learn how wrong that was. But my nervous system, as these needs start to fade, and I no longer gain my acceptance with toxic people, I find myself at a loss and absence and unfulfillment, where I was seeking out love in all the wrong places from people who always saw me as wrong, and only as that source of supply. And my nervous system is starting to find this unfulfillment as a sense of boredom, because that's all it knew. And it's starting to learn that it might be actually feeling safe. This sense of boredom, maybe a sense of safety that I'm creating within myself as I learn to regulate my system and learn to love myself and learn not to put myself in dangerous situations to receive that love or that sense of acceptance. I'm no longer walking on eggshells. I don't have to mind my tone or who I am as a person. The sense of boredom is kind of like getting let out of a prison that I've known for so long. And I'm unsure if it's safe to leave it. There's a sense of confinement. Brought me a sense of security. And as I tentatively step outside of this cage, what do I do with all this freedom? Is it safe to be me? There might be a part of myself that might be feeling a sense of guilt, that somehow leaving it behind means that I'm failing others that couldn't take care of themselves. All this old toxicity, all these belief systems that I'm leaving behind. As I grieve into a new life, I grieve all the things that I could have had that are now possible to me as I go through this recovery. As I step bravely outside of that cage, that sense of fear, and start to accept myself and new possibilities that are afforded to me now. It's okay to feel safe. It's okay to feel scared in this safety. I'm not doing anything wrong by having a life that's for me to live. There are new possibilities that I can have now. And all these feelings still come up, but they don't keep me trapped anymore. The sense of safety. It's so unusual to feel safe. It's so unusual to love myself. It's so unusual to accept myself. And it's so unusual to feel that it's not okay to feel okay sometimes. I'm building a new sense of self. This boredom is the toxicity of what I had to grow up in. This adversity is now finding passiveness. It doesn't have to mind its step anymore. It doesn't have to look out for the next danger. It's saying to itself, that self that looks itself in the mirror every day, to that inner self, that inner kid I'm no longer putting myself in places of danger. It's safe to come out and play now. It's safe to be a kid again. That of which I've denied myself for so long. I'm integrating with this. I'm dissolving the adversity. I'm enjoying this passiveness for once. This nervous system no longer has to be nervous. As I learn not to put myself in dangerous situations or seek love and acceptance in dangerous people. I'm creating a safer place for myself now. A place where I can form my own identity. A place where I can be me. A place where it's safe to be me. A safe to be playful. And an accepting place. Where I don't have to shame or blame myself in order to be accepted. The strength within myself was through going through this adversity and not letting it overwhelm me. I'm what I choose to be now. And I choose to no longer put myself in dangerous situations. To please or appease others. I'm relaxing into myself now. I'm relaxing into who I am. And welcoming in this boredom as I integrate all parts of myself in mind, body, and spirit. And taking a full breath in and out. Yes, this uneasy feeling can be unfamiliar to ourselves because we may have never known safety. We may have never known what it is to be safe within ourselves and grounded and connected to ourselves and being somewhat secure within ourselves. And as we go more into this boredom, I think it's important to even continue on whatever it was that led to this sense of safety within ourselves, because I think we deserve a life where we are deserving of more than what we were given by people that should have cared for us. So I'm Dion from Eflowtion Support Services. I offer EFT Tapping one-on-one online. EFT Tapping helps to down regulate our nervous systems. It's a stress reduction tool. So if you're interested in a one-on-one session that deals more specifically with you, then definitely book in for a one-on-one session. Until the next one, I'm Dion from Eflowtion Support Services, and bye for now.